So I'm not even gonna lie, I was very, very excited for this week's chapter of Bleach because it's been on a little mini hiatus because of Kubo getting sick, which again, completely understandable, get well or whatever. I'm glad he got well and whatnot, and he was able to complete the chapter or whatever. And I was like, oh my god, I can't wait. I actually even hit up one of my friends so we could read it together because I was just really fucking excited about this chapter or whatnot. And the first 4 pages was kind of recap-ish of what we already know. I think alluding more to the fact that the Soul King has similar powers to Bach and he can see the future, but he's an imperfect god, and I think that Bach possibly feels like he's the perfect god. I'm not sure, but either way, it was just kind of recapping more or less what we had seen prior to this chapter, the last chapter that we got, whatnot. So I was like, all right, whatever, let's just get to it. And then when we get the next page and it says dirty, I was like, really, Kubo? That felt like the like you motherfuckers waited. You thought you would. Nah, bro, you gotta hold off. And I was like, Kubo, why? Why must you do this to me, Kubo? Why? I was just really excited to see that stuff. And again, there's no bearing on the chapter because that's just my own expectations or whatever. But either way, I was just like, fuck. So we find out that Hirako Taicho, Shinji, got his ass kicked off screen. I hate it when that happens because I really fuck with the Visors. I love the Visors and just, they constantly, and it was just like, I remember when that fight was set up and everything, when he was supposed to fight, I believe it was Baz B, and off screen, Shinji got wrecked, and Omaida, I was like, how the fuck you got me excited to go for a Bach chapter and, Soul King, and then like we get Omaida. I was like, kill me! And Omaida kissing Shinji's ass, probably because Shinji was the one that saved him, and of course, he twists the story or whatever, so I guess it was kind of funny with Omaida at the end of the day. It was like throwing in some comedy. Omaida's Bleach comedy that I accept because he's just so crusty and he tries to talk the talk, and it's like Soifong slapped the fuck out of him. Speaking of Soifong, she's back, and in case you don't know, that's one of my faves. Like, in Bleach, I really like the girls in there. They're just really awesome. I love me some Rukia. I love me some Soifong, Yoruichi. So seeing a lot of these characters come back and a little bit healed up or whatever, I was like, hell motherfucker, yeah. And then seeing Soifong, I think a lot of the chapter was trying to just build things back up slowly. Like, we got a little bit of her characterization, a little goofy or whatever, of her kind of gushing over Yoruichi's brother, which as of the recording of this video, I've read one translation. The other translation hasn't come out yet, so maybe it might be different, and if it is, then, obviously it's not my fault. I read what I read or whatever, but why the trap? Why? Because at first I was like, oh shit, it looks just like Yoruichi, like she has a little sister, cool. And then we see brother, and it's like, Kubo. The fuck? And it seems as though Urahara is basically making some sort of forceful cannon so that they could force their way through to the Soul Palace, which, not surprised, Urahara's a fucking genius, and it also got to make you think. And I mean, at this point, we can really assume, we can safely assume he's been to the Soul Palace maybe multiple times. Maybe he's from the Soul Palace. We don't know, whatever, but we could definitely assume, because how the fuck would he know exactly what they need and how much they need to break through to, the palace or whatever. So again, just once again alluding the mysterious past of Urahara, which hopefully by the end of the series we actually finally find out everything, which I think we will. And also even knowing that the heavenly armor was one of the keys to getting through there, which the heavenly armor is interesting that the rich families, the royal families or whatever, they have a huge connection with the, Soul Palace. If they're the ones that have this heavenly armor, which is used, I'm guessing, to get through to the Soul Palace or whatever, then it kind of makes sense. And it's kind of like, well, why don't the royal families come out and help, or are all of them dead? Did they get killed in the war? So a lot of comedy, and then that ending with Ichibei, I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? Sorry, humans, we cannot win against Yhwach. I'm like, what the fuck? First of all, didn't he just say, one, that Ichigo is the only one that can stop him? I guess you were bullshitting Ichigo or bullshitting somebody. And 2, weren't you talking that talk like, yeah, man, I'm gonna fuck you up. I'm gonna grind you into, fucking a ball sack. Like, what happened to that, bro? Now nobody can be Bach. Like, what? Unless he feels that it's too late because he can already sense that he's penetrated the Soul King. That totally didn't sound wrong. But either way, interesting cliffhanger. Overall, this was a very exposition-driven chapter, giving a little bit of comedy in there with the Omaida, the Soifong, this and that. So a little bit of that, and you kind of get to see a little bit of this cannon or whatever the hell they're going to use basically to break into the Soul Palace. So Urahara yet again Urahara is a very interesting and enjoyable plot device, and he always has been, and he always will be. It's always like he has this invention that'll get them where they need to go or whatever, but at the same time, if you think about it, he's not necessarily, he's a plot device, but in a sense, he's a plot device that fits very well because of all the mystery and everything, and we know that he definitely has connections to the Soul King, or we can assume at this point that he has huge connections to the Soul Palace or whatever. So while he is a plot device, he works very well. And with all that being said, for the most part, fine to good type of chapter. It was exposition driven. It was, you know, building things up, getting things along. The mention of Komamura kind of hit me here because I never in a million years thought I'd be a Komamura fan, but just even hearing that, and I think that was him on all fours or whatever, it makes me cringe. I feel so bad. Komamura, like, what he did in this war, I will respect, honestly. So yeah, 6.5 to a 7 for this one. Fine to a good. I mean, for the most part, it was alright. It was getting things together. I just felt so trolled when it was like, Bach, the Soul King, oh my, Almighty. But let me know what you guys think, overall thoughts of this chapter. What do you think about this thing that Urahara made so that they could break through to the Soul Palace? How do you feel about getting done dirty? And yeah, but that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, if you can do so as well, that'd be amazing. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. We got done dirty.